Does anybody recognize this fellow here up on the screen? That is kind of a philosopher from decades ago, more popular than Mr. Alan Watts. I'm sure anybody on the internet looking for motivational quotes or things of that nature has come across his voice, at least an AI-generated one. So I thought I would do my part, liking some of his philosophies by spreading the word about it, doing a little video on it, and there's no point in doing a commentary video if you don't interrupt the actual original video with your own inane comments that just kind of detract from the original message. So, I am going to be buttoning here a bit and offering my takes on it, ruining the beauty of Alan Watts' words. Having said that, let us begin.
You know, they say honesty is the best policy. But have you ever noticed that the honest man so often carries the heaviest burden? The man who refuses to deceive, who insists on living truthfully, frequently suffers in ways the liar never does. Why is that? Because to be honest, truly honest, not just with your words, but with your whole being, is to strip away the masks. And when you take off the masks...
This, by the way, was about here why the honest man carries the heaviest burden.
The world sees you as you are, and the world doesn't always like what it sees. Society thrives on illusions. We are told what success looks like, what love is supposed to mean, how a respectable life should unfold, and most people go along with it. They nod, they smile, they put on the costume. But the man who chooses honesty...
What that means here, from a dimwit's breakdown, of course, is that people do what they think they are expected to do. Now, how many times have you seen that played out in life? Maybe you yourself are guilty of it as well. Well, you do maybe even your degree you went to school for. Why? Because you wanted to, or because your parents or friends or somebody else was going to do it and they kind of pressured you into it. Or you felt pressured, I should say. Maybe they did pressure. You need to go here. The whole family's gone here. We've been going here for 5 generations. Even something like that. So you are not really exercising your own free will. You're being led by the outside sources, which is at once puts you at odds with your own internal compass pushing you in one direction here, and then others pushing you in another. It doesn't mean you're forced into it, but it means you are persuaded, not necessarily living your authentic desires.
Honesty cannot do that. He refuses the costume, and so he stands out like a sore thumb. He doesn't play the part, and because of that, he carries the weight of rejection, the weight of being misunderstood. He pays a price most would rather not pay. But here is the paradox. Though he carries the heaviest burden, the honest man is also the freest. Because while others live with the crushing weight of pretense, of lies, of endlessly performing for the approval of others, he does not. He may be cast aside, laughed at.
That there is a burden that not many ever come to realize or think about. It's the cost of being fake, of being a phony. You may be getting ahead in life, seemingly, by following all these different paths. You're more of a chameleon. You adapt to where you're at. Oh, I need to act this way here. I'm over here now. I better act. Oh, I'm over there. And everywhere you go, you are inauthentic. You are just putting on the mask of who you think they want to see. Not who you are, not who you want to be, but just whoever you think needs to show up in that particular moment to pass inspection. That's all it is. You're trying to pass the social inspection.
Or punished, but deep in his being he carries a lighter load, for he knows that his life is his own, and that freedom is worth more than all the false comforts in the world. Now, I don't mean honesty in the sense of blurting out whatever comes to your mind. That is not honesty that is cruelty disguised as truth. No.
I think you're an asshole. I'm just being honest, bro. I'm an honest person. Yeah, I think you're ugly and you're stupid. I'm sure you've all met people like that who wear the disguise of honesty for just being jerks. They will insult you and, yeah, I'm just a real honest person. Yeah. I mean, I can't help it. I'm just honest. When anyone else could do that level of honesty, which is not all that helpful.
Oh, real honesty is something deeper. It is alignment. It is when the inside and the outside are not at war. When the story you tell yourself matches the reality you are living. And when that happens, you become whole. But wholeness, my friends, is not always welcomed in a society that profits from your fragmentation. You see, the liar can adapt. He bends himself to fit into whichever mold is demanded. He can sell the product, play the role, wear the mask, and he may look happy, he may even look successful. But inside, there is a gnawing. For he knows.
That's what you don't understand here, is that you can go through life, perform in a certain way, and externally you have all the attributes of someone other people would want to emulate or idolize. You've got the money, the house, maybe the girl, the family, the cars, the boats, whatever else you want. But they're not really what you set out to get in life. They are just byproducts of you saying yes when you wanted to say no. And even though they may hold the external value, people looking in from the glass window, oh wow, look what he's got over there. Inwardly to you, they feel hollow because you know it is not the true nature of what you desired. And that does begin eating away at the person. It may not happen quickly because you can be comforted by those luxuries of life. When you can sit down and relax and have all these things around you, nice furniture, cars, computers, TVs, whatever it is, and they numb the discomfort, they numb the mind, they distract you from what it is that you really desire. But over time, those two begin colliding with each other. One starts knocking and saying, hey, you remember me? The desires and goals you pushed down and hid away, you little coward. They come back to get you.
That what he shows the world is not what he truly is. And over time, that eats at a man. That becomes the real burden. But the honest man, though he faces the hostility of the world, escapes that inner torment. The honest man then is both cursed and blessed. He is cursed in the eyes of the world because he doesn't bend easily. He doesn't play the game as others do. And so he may lose opportunities, wealth, or recognition. But he is blessed inwardly because his soul is not for sale. His nights are not haunted by falsehood, and that is why his burden is paradoxical. Outwardly it looks heavy, but inwardly it is the lightest of all. He carries truth, and truth itself carries him.
And that people don't realize. It seems difficult at the time, more so, especially when you make that shift over from the fakery to the authentic side of yourself, because you're not starting from a level ground. You're not at a base level here. You have spent years building up and constructing this other side of you that you didn't even really want. So now you've got to figure out a way how to get down from there. You got to figure out how do you build across, how do you go up, you got to figure it out here. You're not just down here and now building your own. You're having to deconstruct or take pieces apart and move them around in order to get to the new stage where you actually want it to be. And that is difficult. A lot of people can't do that because they are trapped on top of this other construction that they have made here. They looking around like, oh God, how am I supposed to get down? I didn't bring a parachute. I don't have anything. They got to figure out a way. And a lot of times that traps them from even trying. But you've got to figure out a way.
But let me ask you, what happens when you lie to yourself long enough? You forget who you are. You lose your reflection. You become like an actor who has played so many parts that he no longer knows his real face. That is the great tragedy of dishonesty. It is not merely that we lie to others, it is that in doing so, we lose our own center. And when you lose your center, you wander through life like a ghost, present but not alive. The honest man cannot do that. He refuses to betray himself even if it costs him dearly, and yes, it does cost him. Because honesty reveals the cracks in the world. It shows where society is built on pretenses and illusions. And when you shine a light on those illusions, people don't thank you. They resent you. They push you out. But perhaps that is why so few dare to live this way.
And that is what happens. But you got to imagine that many other people, maybe even the majority out there, are living these phony lives where they act how you expect them to act. And they want to see others doing that because If they are not doing that, then it makes them question themselves. They look inward and think, my God, he's not following the script. What the hell? Is something wrong with him? Does that mean there's something wrong with me here? Why aren't they doing what they're supposed to be doing? What everyone expects them to do? And like the crabs in a pot mentality, others will naturally, even if subconsciously, they may not be aware of it. Oh, that's subconscious, isn't it? Yes, subconsciously, unconsciously, whatever you want to call it here. Don't get caught up in it now. They just naturally want to not see you succeed, because by you succeeding highlights where they are failing. And that is the real damaging piece here. So you need to find a way to build across, get some new construction, build a plane, get a parachute, get a bungee cord, get a rope, swing across, whatever you got to do. Leave the construction, the fake one you have built. It's difficult. It's difficult. Yes, it is. It will be difficult. But it is worth it in the long run. You need to realign yourself with what it is you actually desire. Not to destroy others or destroy for no reason, but to, as I said, realign. You need to make the shift for your long-term mental health here. It is not something that you can overlook, and as time goes by, I know many of you, you'll ignore it. You will simply ignore that and pretend it does not pertain to you. And you're going to see this face years from now. You're going to have the flashback to this handsome, bald, bearded fellow telling you what path you could have gone on, and you'll think, God damn it, that fool was right. That fool was right. And he's real handsome.